In this video, we're going to document the item summary component. Then when we add the component preview, you'll see how to pass state to it, which is something we haven't covered yet. So we're going to begin by adding a doc block above the component definition. We'll give this a general description, which I'm going to make card to display item information. We'll also add a version tag, and we'll give it the version 1.0.0. Now note that this component has an items prop down here, and it requires the user to pass an item object to it. So let's add a doc block here, and we'll give it the description item object. Next, let's add the preview of the component by creating docs tag at the bottom. And inside that, we'll start with the header usage example. Then we'll create a JavaScript code block. And inside that, we'll declare our component item summary. So, how can we pass an item to the component in the preview? Now, we could declare an item dummy object in the code block above the component and then pass that in as a prop. It'd be better though to create a dummy item as a data property of the preview container component. This would allow us to keep the usage example nice and clean, and it would also allow us to reuse that same dummy item in other components that are going to need it. We're actually going to add a number of different data properties to the container over the coming videos, so let's go ahead and create a dedicated file for this. So we'll come up to the terminal now, and we'll go touch, docs, style guide, data.js. Let's now open this new file and declare a module by going export default, and we'll then add a property item and assign an object to that. I'm now going to paste in dummy item data that I grabbed from the database seed, so you can copy that and paste it in here as well. However, we're also going to need to give this item an ID property, which is not in there by default. That's added by the server before it gets sent to the client app. So let's declare ID as a property, and we can assign any string to this we want. It doesn't actually matter. So I'm just going to put dummy item like that. Heading over to the wrapper component now, let's import this data by going to the top of the file and going import data from data. And to clarify, we're not going to be adding this data to the wrapper component as such, as it's not the direct parent of the preview component. Instead, we're going to add it to the preview container component. So to do this, we're going to come down here into the factory function, and we're going to go component.data, make a function, and return data. So remember that component data needs to be a function that returns the data. Let's check our progress by coming over to the browser, and you'll see the item summary component is not displaying. But if we check the console, you'll see that that's because it's missing the required prop item, as we'd expect. However, if we open up View DevTools and inspect the preview container component, you'll see that it now has this item data property. Now that the preview container has the item data, we can pass that as a prop by adding it to the item summary usage example by binding item to item like that. Once that rebuilds, take a look at the item summary documentation now, and you'll see it's now rendering correctly with the dummy item data.